back at week 9, I felt a very stab pain and like stabbing pain in my tummy. And I went to my doctor and I told her, I need to do an ultrasound to check. And she said, no, just ignore it. It's nothing. Since there's no bleeding, you're fine. You just had an ultrasound last week. So let's wait until the 12th ultrasound. But then when the doctor came, she confirmed. She said that it's a miscarriage. So your baby actually stopped growing at week 9, which is when I had that pain. And your body is just refusing to let it go.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Madinat Mom Podcast. I'm Nour, your host, and today's guest has a story that is a true testament of hope. Her journey to motherhood has been anything but easy. From navigating a missed miscarriage to IVF to a health condition known as chromosomal translocation, her story defied all odds, and against everything, she became a mom. Today's conversation is one of heartbreak and healing, and it's a reminder that sometimes the most difficult journeys lead to the most beautiful outcomes. Thank you for being here, Yasmine.
Thank you, Nour, for having me here today.
How are you doing? How are the kids doing?
Good, all is well. Waiting for the school term to end, but all is well, alhamdulillah.
How old are your kids now?
So my daughter is almost 9 this July, and my son is almost 2 end of this month.
Wow, so there's an age gap between them. Did you get to enjoy that age gap? Do you feel like it was for your benefit?
Yes, to be honest, I always wanted 3 kids with maximum 2 to 3 years in between. And I was very upset why this didn't work out. But then when I had my son after 7 years, I found out that maybe this was the best setup for me. Because I managed to give my daughter all of her time. She was completely independent, and now she also with her brother, she's a little mom with me, and I'm still able to focus on both of them, both of their needs. I'm very happy with this. It worked with me, and given also my work, my everything, my lifestyle. So I think it is the best arrangement for me.
And can you take us back to your first pregnancy? How was that experience for you?
First, before that, my husband and I met in university. So we are university sweethearts. And when we graduated, we directly get engaged. So the minute we graduated, we got engaged. So we were very young when we got married, and we were both very career oriented. So we wanted to take some time before we get kids. And this is because all of my previous tests with the doctors said that I'm in perfect condition to have kids, so you don't have anything to worry about. So even if you delay it a little bit, it's fine. This is basically the confirmation that I got back then. We waited until I was 28, and then I felt at my 28th birthday, I felt, okay, I'm getting close to 30, maybe it's time. And I got pregnant really quickly. It was a very smooth in the beginning, and I had symptoms. They were not very, very strong as I had in my other kids, but it was a smooth pregnancy. When we reached the 12 weeks mark, I woke up and there was blood, and I had to be rushed into the hospital. When I reached to the emergency room there, they told me that this is normal. This can happen in any pregnancy, so don't worry. Just sit there and wait. We would do an ultrasound to check. We just waited there in the emergency room. After that, we got we waited for 4 hours or so. We got into the ultrasound room, and when the technician was looking into the probe, her face was blank. So I could tell that there's something wrong. And I said, where is the heartbeat? And she said it was already 12 weeks. We already saw the heartbeat at 8 and 7 weeks. It was very strong. And she said, I can't tell you anything now. Let's wait for the doctor. Here I knew. I knew something was wrong. It wasn't the normal ultrasound that I used to have before. At that moment, I looked at my husband and I was like, we lost the baby. And he was like, how did you how are you so certain about it? Let's wait for the doctor. And I was like, no, I know it. Because Back at week 9, I felt a very stab pain and like stabbing pain in my tummy. And I went to my doctor and I told her, I need to do an ultrasound to check. And she said, no, just ignore it. It's nothing. Since there's no bleeding, you're fine. You just had an ultrasound last week. So let's wait until the 12th ultrasound. But then when the doctor came, she confirmed. She said that it's a miscarriage. So your baby actually stopped growing at week 9, which is when I had that pain. And your body is just refusing to let it go.
Did you stay with your doctor after that?
No. So what happened is that they told me you have two choices. You either go now in and we give you pills and we try to get it out of your system, or we give it one more week to see if your body will let go on its own. I said, no, I want to get it out now. I wanted the closure. Like, it's been inside me for 3 weeks already and it starts to get poisonous, I understood from them. So I just wanted to get it out of my system. It was the weekend, so my doctor wasn't working during that time. I tried to reach out to her. No response. So we went back home. I told my husband, like, let's just do one more check with another doctor just to make sure that really there's no heartbeat before we take any decision. So we went to a random doctor because my doctor wasn't picking up. And she did the test and she confirmed there's no heartbeat. So I said, la khalas, I know, next, I want to be admitted to the hospital to take it out.
How did it feel to know that it was a miscarriage?
Very tough, actually, because, I had this application and I'm sure a lot of moms do have that application where you track your pregnancy and see, like, today this happened. And the night before, we were with our friends and I was telling them, as per the application, like, the fingers are now formed. So it was very hard to, like, it was like 3 weeks of actually no development, but I still believed it was still happening.
That is a very hard situation to be in. And what makes me so upset and so angry is the fact that you went to your doctor at 9 weeks and you said, I felt something. And they said that as long as there's no bleeding, it means there's nothing wrong. But this is proof. And we all know that just because there's no bleeding, it doesn't mean there's nothing wrong. And I'm sorry that you had to go through that, Yasmine. And did you know later if this is something that is common? Are miscarriage is common?
It's not very common in all, like, pregnancies, normal pregnancies. I managed to find out later, like, what are the causes for my miscarriage, and, like, because after I finished all the procedures at the hospital, I asked to have tests to confirm what happened with me. At that hospital, they told me that they can't do these tests until I have 3 miscarriages after, like, one another. So I went back to Jordan. I had several tests to see what happened. First, they confirmed that I have a mutation that causes blood to clot when I'm pregnant, mainly, or like in any other specific situations. And this might have been the reason for what happened with me because I wasn't aware of it. So in my other pregnancies, for example, I had to take aspirin throughout the pregnancy to make sure that my blood doesn't clot during my pregnancy. Maybe that was the issue, but I have another issue as well, which is the chromosomal translocation. And we will never know what was the real cause, but it's not very common. Yani, I don't want to scare people off as well. And actually, the pain that I had in that week was very intense. So, like, I don't want people to be scared, to, like, pregnant women specifically, because, yeah, the pain was not a normal cramp. And it was it was like at once and very strong, and then it disappeared. I felt it's something wrong. That's why I went to the doctor that week. And I was there at her office, like, telling her, just do the check for me. And she said, don't go home. So,
That's honestly beyond me. Like, you're just asking for an ultrasound. It won't be that hard to do the ultrasound. But it goes to show how much women need to advocate for themselves. And you just need to put your foot down and say, no, I want the ultrasound. And if you're not going to do it, I'm going to get it with someone else. But as you said, there's no need to, be scared that you have a pain. But a mom knows, right? A mom's intuition is very strong, and your intuition was right. And that's why you went and you tried to get the ultrasound. And the conditions that you found out later on, like the chromosomal translocation, these never showed up in your tests before.
No, because these are genetic tests like that. They take a long time and they're very expensive to run. So that's why doctors usually don't do these. And it's very rare. Like it's not also common. So yeah, sometimes it comes from your parents basically, but sometimes it's de novo, they call it. So and I still don't know if mine is de novo or it came from my parents. My mom never had an issue, but it might still have been, but it's luck because if I want to explain a bit about this chromosomal translocation. So it's basically, you know, how we have 23 pairs of chromosomes in our body, and each chromosome has two legs basically. So what happened in my case that what half of a leg of chromosome 1 switched places with half a leg of chromosome 14. So for me, I have all the genetic material in me, so I'm not affected basically. But with my eggs, because they take one of the legs when the eggs is formed, so if it takes the wrong combination of the chromosomes, it's not a viable egg. So it's a game of luck. So I have all of these eggs. You never know when a good egg will come out, on where it's a deformed or like not a complete genetic material egg. So it's just a game of luck.
And when you found out that you have this, what did they tell you about your journey to getting pregnant moving forward?
Yes. So my doctor back then in Jordan told me that just keep trying naturally because you don't have anything physical regarding getting pregnant. So you can get pregnant easily, but it's like whenever it is the right egg, it will be a successful pregnancy. And I believed it because he's a very experienced doctor in Jordan. And I said, okay, I'll go with that. What he explained to me is that there is something called natural selection by nature. So ideally, at each cycle, the egg that gets mature and get fertilized is usually the best in that batch. So naturally, you will get the best egg to be fertilized that month, naturally. So you don't need to go for IVF or stuff like that. So this was the first advice I got. I also wanted to speak to a genetic counselor to understand the odds and all of that. So we emailed the genetic counselor of the hospital in Jordan, and we received the email by mistake. So he sent it to the hospital and they forwarded it directly to me as is. And it was very harsh. The language in it was like basically like she doesn't have any hope because like it's a big part of chromosome 1 affected, big part of chromosome 14 affected, and like it closed it like in our faces, like we're not having kids. And I didn't really understand that email because it's very technical. It was very harsh and it wasn't meant, I think, to be sent directly to me. It was meant to be sent to the doctor. I came back here and I saw another genetic counselor. She explained the situation a little bit more for us. And she explained that it's like odds, like it's a statistics, like you're pulling the egg from the basket, whatever. If it's a good egg, then you have a healthy pregnancy. So it's, let's say 1/8 is what the chance they gave me back then, like to have a child that doesn't have my condition as well.
And when you were reading that email, how did you decide to actually keep getting another opinion after reading such a harsh email that basically states that you're probably not going to be able to have kids?
Because like I always believe in having second opinions, and I wanted to understand because that was only an email, and I read about it online, and like I was doing my research, and I joined support groups as well online because we don't have much support groups here in the region that I know of about this certain condition. I saw that there is hope, and I saw people having kids naturally through IVF, like different success stories. So I felt like, no, maybe it wasn't the right advice. So I wanted to see someone else to understand also what it is because I was depending on my own research.
And Yasmine, when did you feel after going through all of this that you were ready to start trying again?
To be honest, immediately. Because he said that naturally you can get pregnant. I wanted to try immediately and see what happens. Because, you know, the first pregnancy you were like, didn't know anything that's going to happen. So I was all hopeful and all of that. But now I'm prepared. Like, I know in the back of the mind it's positive or negative, so I don't get excited much. So we got pregnant really quickly again after the procedure that I had to clean everything up. That was a story on its own. How I went through the DNC and the whole miscarriage stuff, but that's a whole story. So we got pregnant 3 months after my miscarriage, which was very quick. I got that positive test and like was telling my husband it's a positive again. And like we said, okay, let's not get excited about it. We did the blood test, it was still positive. I changed my doctor, needless to say. And I saw another doctor that was very understanding of the situation. She was very helpful in giving me the assurance I need at every appointment. But what I understood then that because now I need to do extra checks because I know of this condition. So I need at week, like between weeks 10 and 16, I need to do an invasive procedure where they take a sample to check the chromosomes of the baby. So if the chromosomes are okay, like balanced, and this can be some like mine switched or completely normal, then it's a fine pregnancy. But if not, then we don't know what to expect because it's a mix of chromosomes that maybe never happened in nature. But this was stressful as well. There's also 2 tests that you can do at this stage. So either something that was called a CVS that they do at weeks 10 to 12, an earlier one where they can take a sample of the placenta. The other one, you wait a little bit more, which they take a sample of the fluid around the baby, which is called amniocentesis. And both have their like also risks of miscarriage because they're invasive. Like they put a big needle in to take the sample. I decided to go with the earlier one because I want to know as soon as possible. We did it. The wait was horrible because it's 3 weeks to get the results. And during those 3 weeks, my mom came. She was with me during the test and we were waiting like for the results. And I remember she was about to go to the airport. We were waiting for the taxi and they called and they told us like, it's normal, not only normal. She didn't even get my translocation. So her chromosomes are completely normal, which is basically 1 out of 16, what I was told. So it's a very unique and miracle, I think, pregnancy.
And that is the pregnancy that got you your daughter. Yes. How was the rest of your pregnancy?
It wasn't easy because I had nausea. I had like very severe nausea. I remember like I had to run out of meetings to the bathroom and stuff like that. Very, very severe. But I still like enjoying it because I felt it's a blessing. Like it happened, it's normal and all of that. And so I felt like, yeah,
It's a
blessing.
miracle.
Yeah.
It's a miracle. And how was the birth?
It was very nice. I went back to Jordan to be with my family. She decided to come early, so she came one night before my husband arrived. So he didn't witness the birth.
Don't tell me that now.
It was 38 weeks, and my doctor said, I think we can, because I had contractions. So I said, like, let's do it. I said, can you wait for one night? And he said, no, I think, but given that the condition, he just wanted to get her out so that we can like have her safe and sound in our arms. So we went through it, and he came the second morning, which was fine. Like at that moment, I felt no, I wanted him there, but now I think it's fine.
I can only imagine how much you guys enjoyed her
Yes.
after she was born. Can you tell us a little bit about your postpartum experience?
I stayed 2 months in Jordan with my family, with my mom. Everyone was happy to have her. And it's not only me and my husband, because the whole family went through this story with us. Like everyone was involved. And you know how in our culture, like the whole family gets involved in the situation, which is like sometimes like it's good and bad, let's say. Because sometimes you really don't want to speak about it. So you feel it's a pressure, but sometimes it's a good support. Anyway, everyone was happy. It was like a celebration. And then 2 months after she turned 2 months, I came back to the UAE. My mom came with me for a short time. Then I remember when she left, I felt for the first time that I am now her mom. Like I am the mom now. So I need to be strong for her. I need to like take this responsibility really seriously. It was very nice. I had a long break from work. So luckily, by policy, we have 7 months off. So 4 months paid, 3 months unpaid. But then after my maternity leave was over, I also asked to extend it for a few months. And then they told me it's fine. Like my work told me it's fine. If you need it, go for it. So it was very helpful. When she turned 9 months, put her to nursery, and here is where the whole guilt thing started.
The mom guilt, I can imagine, putting her at 9 months and having to go back to work. Were you working full-time from the office?
Yes, so back then it was pre-COVID, so we didn't have that remote work environment much. So yes, it was office work, client work. So I used to be based at the client site, not even at my office. First day, I told my manager then I want to work from a coffee shop next to the nursery because I couldn't leave her and he said that's fine, work from there, and I did. I spent the first week at the reception just watching the cameras to make sure that she's fine, they're interacting with her in the right way, all of that. And it was very hard, to be honest, to go back to work at this point and some of it I think came from my story that I felt that at some point that I would not have kids, and then I had her, and then I'm putting her to nursery and going back to work. I felt like, is this the right thing to do? I should be spending more time with her. But now, looking back, I think it was the right thing to do, to go back to work. I needed to go back to work. I am very career oriented. I wanted to grow in my career, and I think the circumstances were the right ones for the right time. It was a right decision now.
What helped you cope with going back to work and dealing with the mom guilt at the time?
I looked up for other moms in the firm, how they are doing it. And we had a conversation where the mom told me, or the partner now, she told me, don't look at the balance over a period of time. So don't look at it from day to day. In our work in consulting, so sometimes you have very busy schedules. Sometimes it's low intensity. So when it's relaxed, take that opportunity and spend it with your family. So, and look at the balance over a period of time. Don't look at it day by day. And it helped me cope. Yes, I noticed when the time was low, I didn't put on myself extra responsibilities. I embraced it, spend more time with her, and it worked. I think some days were very, very hard. And our job is very demanding because it's long hours, long days, sometimes weekends. But overall, I think it was manageable. I also have, with my daughter, my husband was also not as available as now because he was also traveling. He had to commute. So it wasn't an easy period. I mean, thinking back, it was tough. But somehow I managed to get through it. And I now think I wouldn't have changed.
When did you feel like, okay, I'm ready to start trying for baby number 2?
So when my daughter was 2.5, 3, around that age, they become more independent, somehow. So, and then I felt, yes, now I'm ready to start trying for number 2. And I knew what I'm getting myself into because I knew it will not be an easy journey. We got pregnant really quickly. And then I saw the positive sign again. Didn't mean anything. I did a blood test. It was positive. And then a few weeks after, I woke up and I was bleeding. But I think it was week 6 or something. It was earlier than the first one. So I knew what's happening. It's because it's خلاص يعني I knew this one is not a viable pregnancy. But this time it's different because I have my daughter. I had to prepare her to take her to the nursery. And I had a meeting in Dubai. I was living in Abu Dhabi back then. I had a meeting in Dubai, which is 2 hours, after 2 hours. So I needed to go there. And I was thinking, do I just ignore what happened as if nothing happened and just continue with my day? Or do I need to go to the hospital? And I between me and myself, I knew it's not viable. It's basically, I'm going through a miscarriage, yes, but I'll go through my day. I took my daughter to the nursery and I went to Dubai. I had that meeting. I think after I was done with the meeting, I felt very tired, because I was bleeding heavily. And then it hit me. Like, yeah, I am basically miscarrying again. So I went back home and then I dealt with the feelings like and the loss. And my daughter, although she was young, but she's very aware, like she was very so she felt there's something off and she was like, what's wrong, mama? And it was even harder, like when she's asking me what's wrong, because like I didn't have that experience with my first. The mindset was different, so I knew what to expect. So I think it's emotionally it was easier.
In the morning, you had to just get up and do what you needed to do, which is honestly very difficult as well because there's a lot of emotions that were probably going through you at that time. And then when you came back in the evening, did you go to the doctor or to the hospital?
خالص. Mm. I just let it pass. Also, my husband wasn't there as well, so I think having him that there would have helped. And but خلاص, إنه I felt like I want to go through the normal life. I don't want to disturb anything in my daughter's schedule. Like I want her to have a normal day. I think this also contributed.
Did you allow yourself to process your emotions for, the days after, or do you feel like you just had to keep going?
I journaled, so I wrote it down, and like this is how I let it off. And one interesting thing actually note. So throughout these years, like of trying and loss and miscarriage and all of that, I always thought this is my story, like this is me, and I used to write the details, and I thought like one day I will publish that because there is a lot about it that I want like to speak about for people to know about this what's happening. I used to publish like small things on Instagram and to show other women like you're not alone in terms of miscarriage. So when I had my miscarriage, I posted about it and I had so many messages telling me like they went through a miscarriage as well. I didn't know like it's that common and people don't speak about it. And so I used to write, and then after I had my second, which we'll come to that, um, um, it's like I forgot. Like it's, and when you asked me to come to this show, like I was like, yes, this is something I've wanted to do. I wanted to tell about my story, but I really forgot the details. That I had to go and read my journal to remember the details, and I was like, yes, and at that point, I thought that this is my story and it's not the pain is not going to end. But apparently it did. It did, and now I'm in a better place now.
Can you tell us a bit more about after that miscarriage? Did you feel like right away you were ready to try again? I mean, that sounds like a lot, honestly.
Yes, we kept trying like throughout for 4 years, naturally, as my previous advice was from the doctors that go for it naturally. Um, but it was one loss after the other. So I had so many losses. I lost count, to be honest. I don't know how many like I had. And then I was 33 again, which is also like 2 years from 35. So I was saying like if I want to do IVF, it's now or never because like خلص, it's a lot of it's a financial burden. So I want the best success rates for it. And I consulted also a doctor here, telling her like this is my condition. The advice I got earlier was that natural is the best solution. What do you think? Do you think IVF can give us any additional uh, advantage? Let's say. And she said definitely because we will test the embryos, and then we know that if it's chromosomally good, we will put it back. If not, we will not. And I was like, yes, this makes sense. Let's go through it. But I didn't know what I'm getting myself into. Um, I remember the first time I gave myself this first injection, I almost fainted. Like it wasn't easy at all. And but then I don't know how. Like the human is very resilient, I think, because I got used to it. Like it was very easy, and the injections turned out to be the easiest part of the whole process. The hard part of IVF for me was the waiting. You have to wait to see how many eggs you got, then how many eggs got matured, how many eggs got fertilized. And between this and that, like it's a step. And then how many got to a blastocyst stage, how many are normal. So it's like a process. And you have to wait and anticipate and like be patient. And this was the most tiring process for me, more than the actual medication and getting the injections and all of that. Of course, managing that with work as well wasn't easy, because sometimes the pill time, or it needs to be on the spot, like on the dot. So I had to have alarms, like I need to take, and sometimes I'm in the middle of a meeting, so I have like to go excuse myself and go to the bathroom to take it at that time. It wasn't easy. It's not something you can navigate all the time in all situations, but it passed.
Did people around you know that you were going through IVF?
Only very few, like no, like no, none from work knew, for example. Like my work, no, didn't know about that. My close friends, like from my family, did, yes.
And what was, your experience with IVF moving forward after you got used to the injections and the routine and taking the pills and everything?
So we got a very good result for a first time IVF. So I got 2 normal embryos. So these are chromosomally fine, which gave us hope that putting them back should result in a healthy baby, since my problem is not physical and my problem is a chromosomal. So we were hopeful. We put one in and it was a positive result after. But I felt, I don't know why. The doctor was very excited. She saw the results. She was like, the number is okay. Everything's fine. But for me, it wasn't feeling right. I don't know why. And I told her, like, can we redo the blood test in after 48 hours to see if the number is increasing or decreasing? And she said, like, you're crazy. But I understand where you're coming from. So I'll do it for you. And we did the test and the number went down. So the HCG wasn't increasing, it was decreasing. So then she was like, I don't know how you guessed, but stop the medications and wait to miscarry. They call it a mechanical pregnancy, this one, because it's very early, like it's like just after implantation. So it's not a real miscarriage, it's a chemical pregnancy, which is also a term that I learned about during this journey.
Can I ask you what kept you going and what kept you trying through all of this?
I've always wanted like a sibling for my daughter. So I think this was the main thing. I love motherhood. Like I love motherhood. I really enjoyed being a mother for my daughter, and like seeing how she grows up. Her mind develops. I wanted to go through it again. I did like and because it worked with Jude, I thought like yes, it will happen again, like eventually.
Did you go back to IVF after that?
We put the second embryo and it failed also. So it was also a failure. The same story. It's positive and then it was a chemical pregnancy. At that point, I gave up, yes. خلاص يعني I don't want to try again. And this was on the 5th of September 2022. So this was the day I said خلاص, I don't want to do anything more. The following month, I was pregnant, naturally. and like it's very funny because usually every month I would start testing 6 days before the day, like using those tests that are like you can test 6 days before. And on that month, because it wasn't in my mind like to get pregnant, like the day passed and it was a week after, and then I noticed like what's happening, and I tested and it was very dark color like on the test, and I never had it this dark before because I test very very early. And I said like, how come, like how did this happen? And then I went to the doctor. He was very very nice, that doctor. It was in Dubai because my previous doctor was in Abu Dhabi, so I had to find a new doctor in Dubai. And he was very nice. He's an old man, and he sat there and listened to my whole story because I wanted to explain to him why I'm coming this early to do an ultrasound. I was like, I'm going to do the ultrasound for you. I was like maybe 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and he did it. And he showed me the sack. He said, like, take it. If anything happens, this is your proof that you still got pregnant. And then, like, I was okay. We waited a few weeks, and I did then the second ultrasound, and we saw the heartbeat. We never reached to the stage. So in my 4 years, we never reached to a heartbeat stage again. And خلاص, this time I knew it is the one that will get me my baby. من وقتها يعني before I did the test, the invasive test and anything.
How did you feel?
It was amazing, to be honest, and we surprised the whole family because when we took the decision, we told all of parents that we're not trying again. خلاص, we're content. We have one daughter. She's a blessing. خلاص, we are fine. We are now planning our life as a family of 3 and all of that. And then we were planning to go to Amman, but then when I knew, I said, "لا خلاص, I don't want to get on a flight because I don't want to increase any risks." So my husband and my daughter went alone. And there was like the whole time, where's Yasmine? Where is she? It's not with you. And they were recording where they told them like she's pregnant, and I have the reactions like saved till today. It was very nice. It was a very happy moment.
And this time you were pregnant with a boy.
Yes.
How was that pregnancy for you?
It was still like physically very tiring, the same. I was also nauseous, always vomiting and all of that. But I knew it would pass. Like خلاص, يعني I was more tired. I felt it's because of the age. Because I was much younger when I had my daughter. So I was tired. But خلاص, I was looking forward to having him with us.
And you were also tired because you had your daughter at home. So
Yes,
you
of
have
course.
a kid to look after, and you're pregnant, and you were still working, right? Okay. And then tell me how you felt when you held your baby boy for the first time.
Yeah, his birth was very, very nice actually, because he also came as a surprise. Like he came also 2 weeks earlier, but my husband was with me this time, so he rushed me into the hospital. And my mom was planning to come, but she missed it basically. So it was only me and my husband, which was nice as well. Like it was, we enjoyed like that moment. And then when I held him, it was amazing. Like I can't even describe it. Like, and luckily my husband got it on video, the whole thing. So I still look at it, and it was an amazing experience.
I mean, wow, Yasmine, I think both your kids, عن جد اسم الله الله يخليهم, they're both miracles. Looking back now, what's one word that you would use to describe your journey, your motherhood journey?
As a journey overall, I would still say beautiful. Like I enjoyed it. As I said, those tiny things I forgot somehow. I don't know how, but now I consider this my story. Like me being with my 2 kids, my husband, this small family. This is my story now. It's not that woman that's trying to get pregnant and she's not succeeding, which I thought is my story for a long time.
Wow, Yasmine, what a journey. Honestly, I can imagine that throughout all of this time, your whole life was turned upside down, and it was probably a roller coaster of emotions, from excitement to disappointment, from happy to heartbreak. And at the same time, you had to show up at work, you had to put on a brave face, you had to meet clients, and you had to go about your day as if nothing was happening in your personal life. Was your career impacted at all throughout all of this time?
Yes, it's what you said is completely correct, because I had to show up for my team, for my clients, as if nothing happened. And that meeting in Dubai is a testament of that. I was going through a miscarriage, but I still went to that meeting. And I think my career itself wasn't impacted as much during that period. But when I had my son, I was at a turning point in my career with a career progression opportunity. But then I decided to take a break. So I went on a long maternity leave. It was for 15 months, so a year and 3 months. And that impacted my progression slightly. However, I don't regret it. Yani, I know that I came back now to work, and I'm back to my old position, which is like I'm a director at PwC. The year that I spent with my son, like seeing him growing up, because the first year is very important. They change a lot, like from being a small newborn to walking and talking and all of that. So I wanted to witness this. So I don't regret it really. Yeah, it impacted maybe my progression. And it also happened during when I had my daughter, because I had a longer break than usual. So I also missed a promotion back then. So, but looking at it over all and as a package, like family versus career versus my own health as well. I think it was a good decision.
As someone that is very career oriented, what went into your thought process to actually take a step back and say, I want to focus on my family right now, and I will have a different time to go back and to focus on work?
That was a tough decision, but somehow I was like very certain about it at the same time. Like I was content with the idea that yes, I am stepping back. I managed to, because we also work on projects, so I managed to hand over my projects, like, or complete them completely before I left. So I was still working to the day before I give birth. So the day I give birth, I thought خلاص يعني I want to go into my maternity leave. I want to take it fully. However, I stayed in touch. Like I stayed in touch with my clients after a few months. I stayed in touch with the business, with my teams, but at least it was on my own pace, my own time. So I think because I am career oriented, I couldn't disconnect completely. Like because I see work as part of my life. It's not work life, but it's like a part of my life. So yes, I kept in touch, but it was on my own pace. I gave more time for my son, my daughter, and myself. Like I went back to exercising during that period, which I haven't done in so many years. And it's nice to get back into the routine of كمان self-care.
And now that you're back as a director, has your view on success and happiness changed?
Yes, again, like but it's not now. It's since I had my daughter, things changed for me. So it's not only about climbing the ladder. It's more about having this holistic life, happiness across all aspects of my life, like in my marriage as well, with my husband, with my kids, and in my career. So it's all like different parts of one whole life that I'm living.
To wrap up your journey, can you just tell us what helped you stay grounded during some of your hardest moments?
Faith is one part of that because I had went through multiple points where I was like, why me? And like, I think it's normal, like to go through this denial phase and all of that. But then something even bigger than what I expect happens. Like when I got my daughter, she didn't even have my condition. It was like a very big surprise to me. And then the same happened with my son. And also when going through the IVF and seeing how much this process takes to happen in a lab, and this happens very naturally in a human body, like, you can see like how big this is. And like I had faith that good things will happen. And this kept me going. Um, Throughout my journey, I think one of the things that I want to highlight, because I think if any of the moms that are listening is going through miscarriage or miscarriages, one of the hard things that is that the community, they don't know how to deal with these situations. Yani, your friends will have very good intentions to help you throughout the situation, but they don't know what to say. So they end up adding to the pain. Because I heard, for example, this was not meant to be. But for me, it was meant to be like, or it was not the right time, or just relax and it will happen. But how I'm going to relax? And so, like, things like that, it makes me feel that I am the one responsible for it, or that I don't understand that it's not the right time for me, or something like that. So, also, this is, I think, something for the moms that are going through this. Seek support from groups that understand what you're going through. I joined support groups, and this is common across everyone on that group. And we go to each other to speak because we want to listen how we would comfort each other and not hear it back from the society. Although, like, again, it's good intentions. I know it's good intentions, but it's hard also for people. They don't know what to say, how to comfort you. And for the people listening, the best thing to say is, how can I help? What do you need? I'm sorry. Like things very simple, like just don't make any further comments.
Sometimes you just need to hold that space for your friend to grieve, because it is grieving at the end of the day. It's grieving something that you had known, and it's understandable that people around you might not understand it. Even your partner might not understand the intensity because they didn't get to have that connection that you did. But as you said, sometimes it's really just being there, holding that space, letting them cry, letting them get the emotions out. So thank you for that advice, because I think it's very helpful. But also for the moms that are listening, that are going through a difficulty, that are going through miscarriages, that are not being able to understand why this is happening to them. What advice would you give them? And you can actually give it to the main camera if you like.
Okay, so I think for me, what helped is understanding the root causes. Like I insisted to do the tests that would help me understand my situation. This is not the typical medical practice and might come with an extra cost, but for me, it had helped me understand my situation, set my expectations. When my mindset was okay, there's a 50-50 chance at each pregnancy, actually it became easier for me. It might not be the same. This is a very rare condition that I have. I would advise people to do the tests that are needed if they're feasible, according to the doctor also advise in each situation. And seek support groups. Like don't underestimate the support that these people that are going through something like you would and the strength that they would give you.
That's really good advice. Thank you for saying that, Yasmine, and thank you for sharing your story. It's really a testament to how sometimes the hardest journeys can lead you to the most beautiful outcomes. And just to end this episode, I hope you've enjoyed this discussion. It's just a reminder that you're not alone. As Yasmine said, seek support groups, reach out, talk to people that make you feel comfortable and safe in your space, because your feelings are valid. Miscarriages are not easy. And sometimes having to go through that on your own can make it even harder. So seek support, reach out, find that community. And remember that if you've enjoyed this episode, please make sure to hit that subscribe button below, hit that like button. If you have a story of your own to share, you can always share it with me. You can find me on contact@madinatmom.com. You can reach us through www.madinatmom.com, or you can find us on Instagram @madinatmom. Until next time, make sure to take care of yourselves as fiercely as you take care of your little ones.